Welcome to the 9 months results video. In this video we will find out which UFC prediction channels on YouTube had the most and least correct picks and which ones had the highest and lowest return on investment percentage. For all of their picks and for their picks on favorites or underdogs fighters only. But first we start with the totals for the last 9 months. Over the last 9 months, from the beginning of June 2024, starting from UFC 302 Makhachev vs Poirier until February 2025 Cejudo vs Song, there were a total of 377 fights over 31 UFC events. From 139 prediction channels, I tracked a total of 26,313 predictions for an average of 189.3 per channel. Out of those 26,313, 16,691 predictions were correct or 63.4%, and 9,622 were incorrect for 36.6%. Who were best overall over the last 9 months at predicting the winner of each fight? The Oddsmakers, the Tapology community or the YouTube prediction channels. We start with the Oddsmakers. The favorite fighter in odds over the last 9 months won 264 times out of 369 or 71.5%. And if you had placed a $100 bet on every favorite fighter to win their fight, aka the money line, you could have won $654 for a 1.8% return on investment. The underdog fighters in odds won 105 times out of 369 or 28.5%. And if you placed a $100 bet on all the underdogs to win their fight, you could have lost $6,644 for a return on investment of minus 18%. Was the Tapology community better at predicting the winner of each fight? Well, no. The favorite in picks by the Tapology community won 252 times out of 375 or 67.2%. What about the YouTube prediction channels? The favorite in picks by the YouTube predictors won 237 times out of 373 for 66.2%. So, over the last 9 months, the Oddsmakers were best at predicting the winner of each fight. For the least and most correct picks, we will only include channels that made a minimum of 100 predictions over the last 9 months. At number 10 for least correct picks over the last 9 months is Giuliano Argentini MMA. He made 113 predictions and 67 were correct for 59.29%. Number 9 is Tiger Bomb MMA with 208 correct out of 351 or 59.26%. Lightning MMA had 93 correct out of 157 predictions for 59.2%. In 7th place is Baby Sharp MMA with 198 correct out of 336 for a 58.9% correct pick percentage. In 6th place is Bedtime MMA.
What it do?
With 120 out of 204 correct for 58.8%. Drywall is in 5th place with 125 correct out of 220 for 56.82%. In 4th place is Paul from the Dogger Pass podcast with 146 correct out of 257 for 56.81%. And in 3rd place we have Cody, also from the Dogger Pass podcast. He made 322 predictions over the last 9 months and 182 were correct for 56.5%. In 2nd place for the least correct picks over the last 9 months, we have Sean from the Running Mouth MMA show. He made 224 predictions and 124 were correct for 55.4%. The channel with the least correct picks over the last 9 months was the Finch Jets. He made 229 predictions and 122 were correct or 53.3%. Now, which channels had the most correct picks over these last 9 months? At number 10 we have Left Lane MMA. He had 230 out of 338 predictions correct for 68%. King of Crackdown is at number 9 with 179 out of 263 predictions correct for 68.06%. At number 8 is Live It Larry MMA. He had 96 predictions correct out of 141 for 68.09%. Angelo from We Want Picks is at number 7. He made 364 predictions and 249 were correct for 68.4%. In 6th place is A-Train from Premium Picks. He had 89 predictions correct out of 130 for 86.5%. In 5th place is Once Upon a Slugfest. He made 369 predictions and 254 were correct for 68.8%. In 4th place is Jake Gerber MMA with 80 predictions correct out of 115 for 69.6%. In third place is MMA Lewis with 181 correct predictions out of 256 for 70.7%. In second place for most correct picks we have the MMA Fortune Teller. He made 358 predictions and 255 were correct for 71.2%. And the channel with the most correct picks over the last 9 months is Uncle Weezy. He made a total of 214 predictions and out of those 153 predictions were correct for a 71.5% correct pick percentage. So, congratulations to Uncle Weezy and the rest of these channels in the top 10 for having the most correct picks over the last 9 months. Links to all these channels can be found in the video description. Be sure to check them out and let them know you found their channel through this video. And here is the overview of all 90 channels that made a minimum of 100 predictions over the last 9 months, with their correct picks, their total picks and the correct pick percentage. For the next part of most profitable and unprofitable predictors, we will only include channels that made a minimum of 100 predictions over the last 9 months. Every pick a channel has made counts, regardless of confidence level or the odds. We place a $100 bet on each pick to win their fight, aka the money line. We use the odds from the tail of the tape and we rank the channels based on return on investment percentage. For the top 10 of most unprofitable and profitable predictors, I will mostly only tell the return on investment percentage. But on the screen you can see the money lost and the amount invested, on which the return on investment percentage is calculated from. At number 10 for most unprofitable predictor, we have Fallen Angel MMA. If you followed all of his 125 predictions and placed a $100 bet on each of them to win their fight, you could have lost $1,188 for a minus 9.5% return on investment. At number 9 is Cody from the Dogger Pass podcast with a minus 10.5% return on investment. His co-host Paul is at number 8 with a return on investment of minus 11.6%. In 7th place is Lightning MMA with an ROI percentage of minus 11.8%. In 6th place is Bedtime MMA.
What it do?
With a minus 12.8% ROI. In 5th place we have Sean from the Running Mouth MMA show with a return on investment percentage of minus 13.3%. Tiger Bomb MMA is in 4th place with minus 13.4%. In 3rd place is Giuliano Argentini MMA with a minus 15.6% ROI. In 2nd place for most unprofitable predictors we have Drywall with a return on investment of minus 17.2%. The channel with the most unprofitable predictions over the last 9 months is the Finch Chats. If you had followed all of his 229 predictions and placed a $100 bet on each of them to win their fight, aka the money line, you could have lost $4,162 for a minus 18.2% return on investment. Which channels were the most profitable predictors if you followed all of their picks and placed a $100 bet on each of them for the outcome of the fight, aka the money line? At number 10 we have Kunat. If you followed all of his 373 predictions, you could have won $1,172 for a return on investment of 3.1%. At number 9 is Aside MMA with a return on investment of 3.81%. At number 8 is MMA Lewis with 3.84% return on investment. Jake Gerber MMA is in 7th place with 4.2%. Angelo from We Want Picks is in 6th place with 5.2% ROI. At number 5 we have Once Upon a Slugfest with a return on investment percentage of 5.6%. Bet Sam is in 4th place with a return on investment of 5.9%. And in 3rd place for most profitable predictor we have the MMA Fortune Teller with a 9.1% return on investment. In 2nd place is Brandon from the Santino DeFranco podcast with a 9.5% ROI over his 226 predictions. And the most profitable predictor over the last 9 months is Uncle Weezy. I've tracked a total of 214 predictions for a profit of $2,520 and a return on investment percentage of 11.8%. Congratulations to Uncle Weezy and the rest of this top 10 for being the most profitable predictors over the last 9 months. Links to these channels can be found in the video description. So check them out and let them know you found their channel through this video. And here is the overview of all 90 channels that made a minimum of 100 predictions over the last 9 months, with their channel name, the money won or lost and the return on investment percentage. For the next part of most correct picks on favorite fighters in odds, we will only look at channels that made a minimum of 70 predictions on favorite fighters. Which channels had the highest correct pick percentage when we filter all of their picks for favorite fighters in odds only. At number 10 we have Jake Gerber MMA. He picked a favorite fighter in odds 88 times and 66 of them won their fight for a 75% correct pick percentage. At number 9 is the MMA fortune teller with 75.2% correct. Jacob from We Want Picks is at number 8 with 75.3%. At number 7 is Aside MMA with 75.7%. At number 6 is The Mike Finn Show with a correct pick percentage of 75.8%. At number 5 for most correct picks on favorite fighters in odds only is Kunat. He picked the favorite fighter in odds 255 times and they won 194 times for a 76.1% correct pick percentage. In 4th place is A-Train from Premium Picks with a correct pick percentage of 76.5%. In 3rd place is Brandon from the Santino DeFranco podcast with a correct pick percentage of 76.6%. In 2nd place we have Uncle Weezy. He made a total of 163 predictions on favorite fighters in odds and they won 125 times for a 76.687%. And with a nearly identical correct pick percentage but a tiny bit higher, at number 1 we have Bet Sam. He picked the favorite fighter in odds 236 times and 181 of them won their fight for a correct pick percentage of 76.695%. So, congratulations to Bet Sam and the rest of this top 10 for having the most correct picks on favorite fighters in odds. And of course, links to these channels can be found in the video description. And here is the overview of all 93 channels that made a minimum of 70 predictions on favorite fighters in odds, with their correct picks, their total picks and the correct pick percentage. For the most profitable predictors on favorite fighters in odds, the same rules apply as in the disclaimer before, and we only look at channels that made a minimum of 70 predictions on favorite fighters in odds. At number 10 is MMA Addict with a return on investment of 3.5%. Angelo from We Want Picks is at number 9 with a 3.9% return on investment. At number 8 is Fight Fiend Forecast with a return on investment percentage of 4%. Jacob, also from We Want Picks, is at number 7 with a 4.4% ROI. At number 6 is Once Upon a Slugfest with a return on investment percentage of 4.7. In 5th place we have Kunat. He picked a favorite fighter in odds 255 times, and if you had followed all of his picks and placed a $100 bet on the outcome of the fight, aka the money line, you could have won $1,359 for a 5.3% return on investment. In 4th place is the MMA fortune teller with a 5.39% return on investment. In 3rd place is Uncle Weezy with an ROI of 5.43%. And in 2nd place for the most profitable predictor on favorite fighters in odds we have Bet Sam with a return on investment of 6%. And at number 1 for the most profitable predictor on favorite fighters in odds over the last 9 months we have Brandon from the Santino DeFranco podcast. If you had followed all of his 158 predictions on favorite fighters in odds and placed a $100 bet on each of them to win their fight, aka the money line, you could have won $1,019 for a 6.4% return on investment. Congratulations to Brandon from Santino DeFranco podcast and the rest of the top 10 for being the most profitable predictors on favorite fighters in odds. Again, links to these channels are found in the video description. In my 2024 end of the year results videos, the most profitable predictors for favorite fighters in odds had on average a much higher return on investment percentage. Those results were over the last 7 months of 2024. So, the favorite fighters in odds aren't performing so well at the beginning of 2025. Meaning that the underdog fighters in odds are performing well for the first 2 months of 2025. In the next part we will find out which channels are the best at picking winning underdogs. But first, here is the overview of all 93 channels that made a minimum of 70 predictions on favorite fighters in odds with their channel name, the money won or lost and the return on investment percentage. For the next part of most correct picks, we will only look at channels that made at least 30 predictions on underdog fighters in odds. So, which channels are the best at picking winners in underdogs? At number 10, we have Keith Schillen from SureDog.com. He had 30 out of 71 underdog predictions correct for a 42.3% correct pick percentage. At number 9 we have BetSam with 42 out of 99 correct for 42.4%. R Parks is in 8th place with 23 out of 54 correct for 42.6%. A-Train from Premium Picks picked the underdog fighter 30 times and 13 times he was correct for 43.3%. Brandon from the Santino DeFranco podcast picked the underdog 63 times and was 28 times correct for 44.4%. At number 5 we have Once Upon a Slagfest, Coach, also from Premium Picks, and Sun Tzu Tips, and all 3 of them had a 46.2% correct pick percentage. At number 4 for most correct underdog picks we have Angelo from We Want Picks with 33 out of 71 correct or 46.5%. In 3rd place is the MMA fortune teller. He had 32 picks correct out of 62 for 51.6%. In 2nd place is Uncle Weezy with 25 out of 47 correct for a correct pick percentage of 53.2%. But the channel with the highest correct pick percentage for underdog picks only is MMA Lewis. He picked the underdog fighter 33 times and was correct 19 times for a 57.6% correct pick percentage. Congratulations to MMA Lewis and the rest of the channels for being the best at finding winning underdogs. In the next part we will find out which channels had the highest return on investment when picking underdogs. But first, here's the overview of all 88 channels that made a minimum of 30 picks on underdogs with the number of correct picks, the total picks and the correct pick percentage. For the most profitable predictors on underdog picks only, we will use the same disclaimer as before and a minimum of 30 picks. At number 10 for most profitable predictor on underdog picks only is Coach from Premium Picks. He made a total of 39 underdog predictions, and if you followed all of his underdog picks and placed a $100 bet on the outcome of the fight for each pick, aka the money line, you could have won $566 for a 14.5% return on investment. In 9th place is R Parks with a return on investment of 16.5%. At number 8 is Angelo from We Want Picks with an 18.9% ROI. In 7th place is Once Upon a Slugfest with a 21.9% ROI. At number 6 is Zlatan's Fight Picks. He had a return on investment of 24.4% over his 31 predictions on underdogs. In 5th place is Brandon from Santino DeFranco podcast with a return on investment of 26.5%. In 4th place is the MMA fortune teller with a 28.8% return on investment. Sun Tzu Tips is in 3rd place with a return on investment of 29.4% over his 39 underdog picks. In 2nd place for most profitable underdog predictor is MMA Lewis with a return on investment of 38.1% over his 33 underdog picks. And in 1st place for the most profitable predictor and underdog picks only over the last 9 months we have Uncle Weezy. If you had followed all of his 37 underdog picks and placed a $100 bet on the outcome of the fight for each pick, you could have won $1,896 for a very good return on investment of 40.3%. So again, congratulations to Uncle Weezy and the rest of the channels in the top 10. Links to all these channels can be found in the video description. And here is the overview of all 88 channels that made a minimum of 30 underdog picks with the channel name, the money won or lost and the return on investment percentage. So, there it is, all the results over the last 9 months. Hope you enjoyed it and found it informative. If you did, then don't forget to like or subscribe to the channel. If you want to support the channel and get some extra benefits, check out my Patreon or consider buying me a coffee. Links can be found in the video description. Thank you all so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.